All right. Hey guys, we're City Block Builder. My name is Rishi Shah and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of TentWorks Interactive. Matt, why don't you introduce yourself? And then Jay, why don't you introduce yourself after?
Hi guys, I'm Matt Eskew. I'm the art director of City Block Builder.
Hey, I'm Jay Pasadi, creative director and a CEO at City Block Builder and TentWorks.
Awesome. So we just wanted to do this live stream because we had a few questions from our fans about City Block Builder and about TentWorks in general. So we're gonna segment this. The first part's gonna be a little bit about the arts team, and then we're gonna go into the AI, and then a little bit more about TentWorks Interactive. So first, let's start with the prop side of things. One of the questions were, how many new props have been added into the game? I'll let Matt talk about this.
So far, we have about 100 brand new props, which brings our number up to about 300 props, I believe. This is just scratching the surface of what we have. Our props vary from our different levels of furniture, such as, a wooden table to a deluxe marble table, and pretty much everything in between, to all the different types of interactive objects like the cuisine. We have hundreds of food props that are going to be coming in. So we're really excited about growing those numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for each segment of the game, we're going to have a bunch of new props coming in. So it's super exciting stuff. Jay, another question that we got was, what are some of the quality of life improvements that we are going to be seeing in City Block Builder?
Quality of life improvements obviously very, very important to us, and these are small, tiny changes in the game that just makes it a lot more convenient for the players to play and use the game and interact with the game. I mean, we made a lot of changes to the UI. The UI is a lot easier to use. There are a bunch of hotkeys where it's a lot simpler for players to change how the cinema playtimes are being changed, what time you want to organize when your cinemas are playing, changing the price of all your goods and all your tickets or your food items. All of that is a lot easier. So for example, right now, everything that is related to each other is in the same place. So in the finance tab, you'll see all the money coming from a cinema, maybe all the money that's coming from a restaurant. All the stuff is all unified in one place. Like for example, when we had the beta of the game last year, you had to go click on each business individually, look at the finances, change the ticket prices there, change all those tiny things there, and then you have to exit out and then click on the next business. But now everything's unified and you have a general overview. I think if any of you were following before, you saw in some of those old videos, it said under construction. We just made all of those things a lot more simpler, a lot more, it just makes more sense. And I mean, how I would like to say it is like, it just flows very clearly. Like what changes any player would want to make. It's right there where he needs it, when he needs it. And it's absolutely a lot easier to use. Like even like, I think when it comes to the build mode, we have a lot of quality of life improvements. Like moving the rooms around is a lot easier. It's just pick up and drop, pick up and place, pick up and place. But before that, we had to like right click out and all these tiny things that used to make it feel very, very complex has become a lot simpler now. Now it's just everything you need right there when you need it.
Yep. Awesome. So another question that we got was about the concept to reality. What are the steps in going from concept to reality?
So obviously, I mean, when it comes to concept reality, it requires a lot of research that we need to go ourselves and find reference images and do our research on history and all the clothes of the time and how the architecture back then looked. And that's what I would send over to the concept artists. And that was how we did it when we initially started the game. And obviously then we had our art director, Matt join in. And I think Matt actually, like, I think when I made all the concepts and stuff like that, he's like, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And Matt actually lived in LA. And I think he really helped out with saying, oh yeah, like, this is ways to go eat hot dogs. And this is like, I forgot, there were a lot of places that Matt actually went to, and those places existed in the 50s. And I'll let Matt chime in on what changes he came and placed into the game
Yeah,
to
for
make
sure.
it feel a lot more authentic.
Yeah, when I got a hold of the game for the first time, and I sort of like cruised around and shit, all the bones were there for for like a really good experience for this type of game. But the only thing that was really missing is it really didn't feel like Los Angeles. Like I really wanted to like make it feel like Los Angeles, but I also wanted to make it feel like, take the tropes of the era and bring those into the game, bring those into the design. Because when it started, it's like, okay, it's kind of old cars and diners. Okay, that's fine. But we needed to like push it a little more, let's make a larger like bowling alley. Let's make a larger theme restaurant. So, it's Los Angeles. Everything's a little bit bigger than life. And, there's a couple hundred years, which sounds a lot, to people in other countries, it's like laughable. Because to us, that's super old. That's nothing to other people in other countries. But, there's a mishmash of architecture.
Yep.
That really speaks to it. There's there's huge movie palaces, like right next to the smaller restaurants and iconic restaurants that have been there since like post-war. So, and this is the world that we were trying to realize in the game. So I really wanted to like push for the addition of these things. We went as far as, throwing in a version of Pink's hot dogs. In there, which is like an iconic LA spot. I mean, if anybody ever lived or worked in LA, everybody's got to stop at Pink's.
Yeah.
Before or after the bar. That's a thing. So I really wanted to include that. I really want to include landmarks. I mean, what is Los Angeles without a version of Mann's Chinese Theater? Without a cultural representation like a Chinatown or a Alberta Street. Like these things are important to have. Representation of and their locations are important to have. The skyline of that area is not just downtown Los Angeles, but Los Angeles as a whole. You're going to see the Capitol Records building, iconic, and it's been there forever. So I really wanted to see those things. And now I think in the past year, we've really changed the look of the map and really kind of tied it into, now it feels like, okay, I look at it at a glance, it's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like Matt how initially, I used to spend a lot of time in LA too. And I placed some of these buildings around in the map and you came in. I like the idea how like, compared to our old map, if the fans notice, you made every single block represent like a miniature version of LA, and I thought that was really cool. And I think you did a good job.
Well, thank you. Jay. Appreciate it. Oh, shucks. You're making me feel good. What is the feeling? No, but I appreciate that. And that was, before I got hired, that was part of my document that I had sent to you that said, taking a look at your game, these are great ideas, and I like the feel of this, but here are some things that I would love to see. And I just gave you a list of like really embracing the cultural mishmash that is Los Angeles. It is a cultural melting pot. Definitely needs to be represented, and I think we're getting there.
Yep.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Talking about like some of those assets that were that we've created, Matt, how were these assets created? Were they done by a third party? That's one of the questions as well that was asked.
Oh no, everything's created in house. We have a remarkable concept art team. We have a remarkable 3D team. Probably, I've been in this industry over 25 years, and these are some of the best people I've worked with. And I definitely think the talent base is remarkable. Like, I think India is is a extremely strong in the arts world right now.
Yep, I second that.
I think we were thinking for a long time, like I think initially when we made the game, like a lot of games were like they were buying assets from the outside, but we really wanted to make it in-house.
Hmm.
So that's why we really like fell over ourselves in the beginning, and then we actually found exactly what we wanted to do. And now, yeah, like our pipeline is really good with as Matt said, with our concept team. Even our animations are made in-house. I think Matt forgot to mention our fantastic animation team, but yeah,
Yeah.
now it's like a machine, and they do their research, they do their concept, the 3D team does it, and then they hand it off to the dev team.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's coming out quick. I mean, I think amount of assets we've added up the game just over the last few months is as much as we've made over the last few years, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Another question is about the story mode. It looks like a lot of people are super excited about that. What is the concept of the story mode? Is it based on anything? And who are some of the main characters?
I'm going to let Jay take this one, at least initially.
Okay. Well, obviously, I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up reading comic books, and I think comic books are some of the best mediums in the world to like convey stories, and it's just amazing.
Yeah,
And
especially in
obviously,
the 50s, comics were excelling at
exactly,
it. Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, as you know, Rishi, like 1950s comic books was huge there. So we obviously wanted to make sure that, okay, this is a great opportunity for us to do a story that's inspired by the look of 1950s comics and the golden era of superheroes. And I mean, this is post-war. I mean, people were reading comics in World War II, and they came back to LA and came back to the whole of US, and they were all reading comics. So we have something, I wouldn't say based on anything, but I would say it definitely pays homage to a lot of comic book tropes of back then, and
Hmm.
how culturally black and white things were, I think, back then. So I think there's a lot of that there. And obviously, when it comes to the main characters, we have we won't reveal too much, but we have
Yeah.
we have someone to we have someone that will we have a character that definitely is makes fun of how superheroes were back then, with the underwear outside his pants and everything. And
Yeah.
and
The
obviously
world's
we
first
follow.
fanboy.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then we have our first main protagonist that is us, that we follow through the story, that walks us through all of LA's pop culture moments, all of the 1950s big businesses back then, where you're a CEO
Yep.
or
Yeah.
entrepreneur in a sense. Yeah.
And I really want to state, I mean, without mentioning too much about um, the superhero-esque character, that it was created by Andrew Naveen, who is our lead concept artist, who developed the look and feel of this character. And
Hmm.
the first concept that he did of this character is the last concept he did of this character. It was so perfect, out of the park.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it.
I think we were all like, wow,
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah.
and not only speaking to his talent but his imagination,
Hmm.
and he kept everything very era specific, and without even having to tap me on anything, he just sort of like dug in and did it, and it just knocked me out of the park, man. I'm like, really, this came from you? That's just fantastic. So it really sparked a different dimension to the story of this game, and I loved it.
Right.
I was floored. So again, not only just praising the art team and the concept team, but like the level of imagination that they have is remarkable.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think now you'll be seeing images of Matt. Do you want to reveal the character's name
Sure.
and talk a little bit about him?
Yeah. So I guess we could talk about this character a little bit more. Ever thinking back, and like, oh, we kind of already showed him before. So his name is Major California. I won't go too much into his very odd backstory. But what I will say is he has no actual superpowers. He just kind of thinks he does. So we'll just sort of leave it at that. And
no powers,
I love the
no
design.
restaurant.
I love it. The makeshift design. One of my favorite character assets that about him is that he uses a plunger, like a toilet plunger. I thought that was hilarious and very creative. So and kind of been done. We're just we've seen it in other stuff, but I think it's funny, and we're gonna leave it.
Yeah, but I think his motto, if anything, to understand what kind of superhero he is from no power comes no responsibility. That's what he should say. But,
I think Marvel might have something
Probably.
to say about
yeah,
that.
maybe season the system or
Let's not get sued. Well, because it's not just Marvel anymore; it's Disney.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, exactly. That's big money over there.
yeah, totally. I like working.
Awesome. So I think the next thing that a lot of people were asking about is also our AI. What is happening with that? And I'll let Jed talk a little bit about that.
So yeah. I mean, we get asked a lot about this, and we've talked about this a lot before. I mean, we redid the whole AI system last year to obviously make the AI feel a lot more organic and a lot more natural. I mean, previously the way we did AI was it was very much more hard coded, but now we built AI from the ground up, and the AI make decisions that make sense. For example, in the movie theater, you have teens that would be more likely to watch, like say, like a horror movie or order something based on what their age group is. And the thing is, in the game is like the new AI actually has like a field of view where they actually watch. They actually like they don't magically know if something on the other end of the map is going to fulfill the thirst or hunger or the entertainment need for entertainment. So it's more like what's around them, and it's more like how you as a real person would interact in the world. Yeah, you see something and you're like, hey, okay, that looks like a good place to eat at. That's where you're going to eat. And so that really like gives a lot of challenge for the players on how they're going to even build the whole business on the map. So make sure it's easily found by people, like how you guide traffic, how you guide all the NPCs through your little business place, so that you ensure the businesses get the visibility in a sense. Another way is AI changes with how you market to them. So like market on radio, on theater, on cinema, on radio, on TV or newspaper. That'll reach different demographics. That's what we did. We actually made like a kind of an AI for every single demographic. Like older people react like this, younger people react like this. So, and there's always changes coming to that. So it's not like it's a one and done thing. AI keeps getting better and better.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think
it's gonna feel real. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of changes that people are going to see from some of our demos at PAX and Gamescom and other such places. I think it's a very exciting time for us right now. And I think we've like stumbled across a few issues, but we've learned a lot along the way. And I think that's really going to radiate in our next build and in our early access as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the easiest way to say it is like a lot of AIs in this genre is often AI is kind of on rails, and there's only like certain choices they can do. But now the choice is more like it feels more natural. Like really, it feels like you'll see how it feels. So like when the AI will have to decide whether they want to go to a movie theater or a restaurant or what dish they're going to choose at a restaurant. You'll see a lot of variety there. So you as a player will have to adapt quite a lot. And so there's going to be a lot of problem solving for you to do in the game.
Yeah,
which is the main thing you're going to be doing. Yeah.
Yep. I think some very exciting things going on. But
Okay.
So one of the other questions, I think the last question was about the is about the move from URP to HDRP.
Yeah. So URP to HDRP, for people who don't know, is like universal render pipeline to high definition render pipeline. I think we've lost a bunch of people just by speaking about that. But basically, this is the way, like this is our render pipelines in our game, and they're used for different things. A lot like URP, for example, is used in a lot smaller games, and a lot of indie games, but HDRP or high definition render pipeline is what all the big games, all the AAA games are using. It allows for us to have a lot more fidelity, make the lighting look a lot better. It's a little bit more complex to work with, but we actually spent a bunch of time last year, like actually a couple of months. And I think Matt knows how much of a task that was for us to move over. But I think it was definitely worth it. Like if you look at the screenshots from last year and now, you'll actually see the difference from everything. It also
Yeah,
allows us
and-
to like put in a lot of new shaders when we want to. So we'll actually
Mhm.
see a lot more. You'll see a lot more fidelity for sure.
Right, and anything to improve the look for us is a win on my end. You know, it's been my main focus from the day one that I've been here is to start making things look better, and that was a great step. So, and even though we're just dipped our toe into it, I've already seen great improvement. So we're going to keep exploring and keep making things look great. I'm going to say great a lot of times apparently.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's it from us, guys. We're looking
Right.
forward to releasing City Block Builder to everyone for early access. And yeah, did anyone else have anything else to say?
I mean, thank you so much, guys, for watching us and listening to our live stream. Hope to see you guys playing the game soon and seeing all those memes come out.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.